Imagine a world where an extremely strong character isn't the one shouting at the top of his lungs or unleashing flashy moves every 5 seconds. Instead, they're quiet and only reveal their true powers when absolutely necessary. Today we'll be talking about some of the best action anime where the MC hides his true potential. Starting off the list with Plunderer, an anime that throws you into a chaotic world where numbers are everything. Literally. You see, if your count is dropped to 0, you're taken to the abyss, a fate worse than death. Sounds intense, right? We're introduced to our main character, Bach, who acts goofy all the time. But hey, don't get fooled by his carefree, goofy personality. The dude has a count of negative 999, but he hides that from everyone, which is basically a decoy. Licht is hiding his true power, a hidden count that skyrockets to a jaw-dropping 57,000 when he unsheaths his sword. But why hide his powers, you might ask? Well, Licht isn't exactly a fan of his own strength. Haunted by his bloody past and the guilt of countless battles, he prefers to keep a low profile, avoiding conflict whenever possible. On the other hand, we have Hina, our main female protagonist who's on a journey to find the Red Baron, as instructed by her dying mother. But when Licht and Hina's paths cross, it's an entirely different story. Fulltime Magister. Next up, we have the story of Mofon, who finds himself in a world where magic is everything. In this new reality, people train to become more powerful magicians, and Mofon, who was just your average guy before, now has to go figure out this magical world. Just like his previous life, Mofon remains the son of a poor laborer and the big brother of a crippled girl. Despite the odds, he manages to get into a magic school to become a magician. But soon enough, the rumors about his poverty and lack of ability start spreading throughout the school. But wait, Mofon discovers that he's got a rare and incredibly powerful talent. He can control multiple elements, and not just any elements. He starts with fire and lightning, two of the most destructive forces in the magical arsenal. But you see, Mofon isn't exactly eager to show off his powers. He keeps his dual element talent under wraps, not wanting to attract too much attention or make himself a target. After all, in a world where your magical abilities can make or break your future, being too powerful can bring all kinds of trouble. Instead, he pretends to be just another struggling student while secretly training and honing his skills. The Eminence in Shadow. Sid Kagano had always loved the idea of being the ultimate puppet master, the one who was neither a hero nor a villain, but someone who controlled everything from the shadows. In his previous life on Earth, Sid was so obsessed with training to become this shadowy mastermind that he pushed himself to the limit until he got hit by a good old truck-coon. He finds himself in a fantasy world where he can actually live his dream. But while he's busy making sus schemes about secret organizations and ancient evils, most of what he thinks he's making up turns out to be real. Yeah, his over-the-top imagination ends up matching the actual conspiracies in the world he's in. So Sid gathers a group of loyal followers, the Shadow Garden, convincing them that they're fighting against the dangerous cult called the Diabolos Order. Little does he know the cult really exists, and they're just as dangerous as he made them out to be. Sid's true potential is not known to many as he keeps it under wraps, but Sid is the ultimate shadow ruler. Rurouni Kenshin. Let's go back to the Meiji era, a time when the samurai were fading into legend and Japan was modernizing at lightning speed. We're introduced to Kenshin Himura, a wandering swordsman with a dark past. He'd killed so many people that it was impossible to keep count, but after the brutal civil war, Kenshin hung up his lethal ways and took up a reverse blade sword, the one that cannot kill. Kenshin's travels lead him to Tokyo, where he meets Karo Kamiya, the feisty owner of a struggling dojo. Despite his vow to leave violence behind, Kenshin can't seem to escape trouble, whether it's bandits, corrupt government officials, or remnants of his bloody past. Along the way, he picks up a ragtag group of friends, including the hot-headed brawler Sanosuke, the street-smart pickpocket Yahiko, and the clever yet dangerous doctor Megumi. Together, they encounter a colorful cast of villains with their unique fighting styles and twisted personalities. Even though Kenshin appears to be a humble, calm, and goofy man, he's actually a fierce swordsman with powers that could make even the toughest warriors tremble. Reincarnated has a sword. So there are plenty of weird isekai out there, but the one that particularly caught our attention is Reincarnated as a sword. You see, normally in an isekai, our MC wakes up in a fantasy world as some OP warrior or, maybe a monster. But in this isekai, our MC gets reincarnated as a sword. Yep, a sentient, magical blade. You see, our MC used to be an ordinary salaryman in his previous life who unfortunately got truck-cooned and transported to a fantasy world with a sword. Now, this sword isn't just an ordinary blade, it's a ridiculously overpowered one with a bunch of cool abilities, like slicing through anything, flying through the air, and performing magic. But things take an interesting turn when Fran, a demi-human, gets her hands on her MC, who becomes her trusty weapon and mentor. Our MC, now named Frey, provides Fran with tactical advice, strategic insights, and the occasional nudge in the right direction, all while making it look like Fran is doing all the heavy lifting. And now it's time for you to show your hidden power. Hey, if you're enjoying this video, please do give it a like, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel, you consider doing that too. It's not like my entire life depends on it, but yeah, it'd be great. Thanks. Moving on to one of the best fantasy anime of 2024, genuinely, is Freerun Beyond Journey's End. This story starts after our heroes have defeated the Demon Lord, and they continue their regular lives. Enter Freerun, the elf mage who's part of the legendary hero party who defeated the Demon Lord. You see, while her human companions are eager to celebrate their victory and head off to enjoy their hard-earned peace, Freerun is left feeling like she missed out on something. Why? Well, elves live for hundreds of years. They have a very different perspective on time and friendships. After her human and dwarf friends go to live there happily ever after, Freerun decides it's time for a new adventure, one that's less about saving the world and more about savoring life's fleeting moments. Instead of fighting demons, she's on a quest to reconnect with old pals and dive deep into what it really means to live and love. From the looks of it, Freerun is like a frail little girl, but with thousands and thousands of years of experience. She's someone not to be underestimated. She really doesn't like flaunting her magical prowess, but when push comes to shove, she blows everyone's minds. Next up is the Iceblade Sorcerer, which features an incredibly strong boy named Ray White, known far and wide for his icy prowess and jaw-dropping spellcasting abilities. But after winning a terrible war, Ray enrolls in a prestigious academy where he hopes to blend in with the crowd instead of standing out because of his immense powers. At first, his plan seems to be working. Ray keeps a low profile while the snobbish high-class students look down on him, assuming he's just another ordinary guy with ordinary powers. But despite that, he makes a lot of new friends and eventually comes to the limelight because of his abilities. You see, a conspiracy lurks within the academy walls, and Ray is tasked with revealing the identity of a mysterious spy whose motives are unclear. So yeah, Ray must come into the spotlight for the sake of his newfound friends. As he digs deeper into the conspiracy, Ray must confront not only the secrets of the academy, but also the ghosts of his own past. Welcome to the magical world of Akashic Records of Bastard Magic Instructor, where the world of magic is flipped over on its head by a very interesting kind of teacher. You see, the Alzano Imperial Magic Academy is the most prominent and most prestigious academy in the Alzano Empire. Here, the students are groomed to become the next generation of powerful sorcerers. Here we're introduced to Glenn Raiders, the laziest, most unmotivated, and downright unreliable substitute teacher the academy has ever witnessed. But there's more to Glenn than meets the eye. Beneath that sleepy, disinterested exterior, he's hiding some serious skills and a mysterious past that would blow the students' minds if they knew about it. The real fun begins when Glenn's unorthodox teaching methods start shaking things up. He may appear to be lazy, but when it comes to using magic, no one can surpass him. Literally no one. And as the story unfolds, it becomes clear that Glenn's presence at the academy is no accident. A darker plot is brewing in the shadows, and when dangerous enemies threaten the academy and its students, Glenn is forced to step up and reveal the true extent of his powers. Let's talk about Seika Lamprobe, a super powerful exorcist who, after being betrayed and taken out by his so-called allies, decides to get the ultimate revenge by being reborn. But Seika is not your average isekai protagonist who doesn't know what to do once reincarnated into a fantasy world. No, he has a plan. When he's reincarnated, he decides to keep his true identity and insane exorcist skills under wraps. Now, as a young boy with no magical powers and a world full of wizards, Seika's all about playing it cool while secretly being one of the strongest beings around. He pretends to be just another ordinary kid, but when things get tough, like facing off against demons, rival wizards, or anyone who thinks they can mess with him, he lets his exorcist powers loose in the most epic ways possible. The best part? No one suspects a thing, so he's constantly outsmarting everyone while keeping his low profile. If you guys are a fan of stories where our MC is one step ahead of everyone, then this one is for you.
クラスで頭のいい奴らに乗り移りまくって怪盗を暗記して戻って怪盗欄を埋めるのを繰り返す
Ah yes, the infamous anime where superpowers are not for heroes but teenagers, going through awkward phases. Yu Otasaka is your typical high school guy, except for the tiny detail that he can temporarily possess other people's bodies. Naturally, Yu uses this ability in the most mature way possible, by cheating on exams and being a general sneaky mastermind. He's living the dream, dodging responsibilities and enjoying the perks of his power, thinking he's got life all figured out. But Yu's carefree life comes to an end when he gets caught by Nao Tamori, the no-nonsense student council president at Hosomi Academy. She's not just any high school girl. Nao's got her own superpower and on a mission to track down kids with abilities like Yu's. She forces Yu to transfer to her school, where the student council's job is to protect these superpowered teens from getting exploited. Now, instead of breezing through life, Yu has to team up with Nao and the rest of the student council to hunt down other students with powers, all while trying to stay under the radar. And with that, we'll be wrapping up this list for the best anime where the MC hides his powers. Now, I know there are a lot of anime like this, so we have to have missed out on some of your favorites. So before you start attacking me, why not just tell me which ones I missed, and I'll make sure to make another video just for you. Also, while you're at it, you could comment down below any other anime lists you'd like to see. See you next time.